It's amazing how you can speak right to my heart. Without saying a word, you can light up the dark.
What's killing you?
Try as I may, I could never explain what I hear when you don't say a thing. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you catch.
When I'm away climbing, Ethan and Julia are the two people that I miss most, and I think of them all the time.
Best when you say nothing at all.
In Bali, we went to see a couple of temples.
All day long I can hear people talking out loud. But when you hold me near, you drown out the crowd.
Also saw the beach of Eat, Pray, Love.
Try as they may, they can never define what's been said between your heart and mine. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you catch me wherever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me wherever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all. That smile on your face, the truth in your eyes, the touch of your hand lets me know that you need me.
Arriving in Sugapa was where our adventure to climb Carstensz Pyramide officially started. This is where negotiations started to allow us or not to enter and cross these native lands where being taken hostage was not uncommon. This is the location of the Gransberg mine, which is the largest gold and the second largest copper mine in the world. And its base is near Pancajaya, which is the local name for Carstensz Pyramide. Honestly, getting in these motorcycles was scary and simply trusting our local guides and their judgment. But this was the only way to get to the Danny tribe, William's farm, where his people would guide us to base camp. After only a few minutes riding out of the Sugapa airstrip, we quickly arrived at our first roadblock, in which we later learned we had lost our kitchen tent, which made cooking, eating, and even socializing to clear our minds at the end of the day challenging because of the lack of temporary shelter of the elements. And we also learned later on that our toilet tent was also taken. This bike that seemed to say police, I really never was able to confirm if it was really a police bike, but maybe it was. We learned during this day that many people needed to be paid off for us to be able to cross these lands, including local government authorities.
Part of the experience. It is. I think it is. It's part of the experience.
This was our first test. If we would not be allowed to cross the roadblock, we would have had to go back to Sugapa airstrip and then back to Tamika. It seemed to me that it took a really long time. I'm going to venture a couple of hours.
No, oh, milk. No, bread. Yeah.
And guys will be guys, and they decided to have some fun and be a little macho on the local police station makeshift outdoor gym.
is our fourth stop. Fourth negotiation. We've been negotiating for 4.5 hours. Yeah, this is fun.
Tired of the motorcycle ride over hills and rocks and rivers and pit stops and barricades, we finally arrive. When we finally arrived at William's farm, the Denny's tribe's current leader, it was as if we had stepped into the scene of a movie set. There was even real bows and arrows. Then our lead guide Raymond and William shake hands. We are home for the night and our journey begins. I think we were a novelty to the children, especially me being a woman. It was quite a novelty for them. They kept staring at us, but maybe they had no more entertainment, and we were the entertainment that day. The farm, William, as the chief of the Dani tribe, had several wives, and each wife had the different little huts, and therefore had several children, a lot of children. This village, William's farm, and the children, to me, was unreal. The children were ridden with head lice. Their living quarters were something you would watch in a movie, yet very real in front of me. And it was contrasted with them wearing Western clothing.
Huh? I know. And yeah, they do.
I tempered the storm, though your faith was small. I pray while you slept, and the night waged war. We stood in the fire, and we walked on sea, and we drank out the wine that was made of me. So don't turn your eyes from me, for my love won't be undone. And don't hide your face from me, for my light has surely come. Surely come. Surely come.
Sana uang itu sedikit dapat. Kalau Anda sebagai sekolah, nanti berikutnya Anda jadi manusia. Uang itu barang apa? Ada
up your crown, and I wore your shame. And death was a fire, and his teeth were grim. But I left it behind, along with all your sin.
Farmers from the nearby from all Danny tribes had come to William's farm, and as he was the head of the Danny tribe, and this is where all the work and were assigned who was going to be the porters, and this was a long affair in the morning, and it was negotiated, and people were paid, and all our luggage was and supplies were given and divided among the farmers that I guess won the bids. It was a long morning. We were all ready to go, but it took us a long time that day to just get ready and go.
Lift up your eyes and see, heaven is closer than you know.
The women carried the bigger loads. They carried them in these sacks on their heads, like support from their foreheads. It was just truly amazing and humbling to see. And then just like that, we were finally on our way. We were leaving William's farm, and we had protection of the Danny tribe, and we were starting our hike to Carstensz Pyramide.
No one will forsake you, so lift up your voice and sing. Know that my love won't let you go.
You might wonder why we're wearing rain boots in hiking. And I had wondered, I had chosen bright red ones just to be pretty in the jungle. But the reason that we needed rain boots for this part of our trek is because of the sheer rain that we would encounter and the sheer amount of mud that we would encounter, and hiking boots wouldn't cut it. We would need to hike in plain rain boots, in my case, red rain boots. I was happy to see a bridge. It was the only bridge we saw, but it was, I guess, a teaser on the first day that it wouldn't be so hard and everything that I had seen on YouTube wouldn't be true. But like I said, it was a teaser, but it was a nice bridge. This crossing over here was a little dicey, but our guide helped us. And then this one here, you're walking over a log and over a rope. Yep, we got it. I got it. We take regular breaks and rest and eat a lot of sugar, but then we continue just hiking. This was day 2 of our hike. The night before, it had rained torrentially. We also lost one of our team members as he decided to go back to Sugapa to return to Tamika and then join us at base camp, hellying in. I mean, he would take the helicopter to meet us at the base of Carstensz Pyramide. With my fear of heights and this unstable sand with a raging river below, as you can see, I for a brief moment thought to myself why I had not returned back with him. Another bridge crossing with angry waters raging below. It was exotic, I have to admit. We are trekking through the jungle that guards the approach of Carstensz Pyramide, also known as Pankajaya, where the closest village had been the Dani tribe farm, and we are trekking towards the base of the mountain.
And here's Emma, also known as Jane.
Hiking through the rainforest wasn't easy. It was rainy, slippery, muddy, hard. We all fell at some point, dirty, tiring. You had to watch your foot all the time. It was truly an adventure. Hiking in to climb Carstensz Pyramide was truly an adventure of its own.
We may fail, and there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. My faith will stand, and I record above your name.
This one section of the rainforest was climbing for hours over roots and dead trees and stumps and more roots. It was a natural stairmaster that was slippery, and if you weren't careful, you would just fall. It was very interesting.
Your grace abounds in deepest waters, your sovereign hand.
I can't remember quite well, but if it was 1 day or 2 days, but the scenery it seemed to not change much, and I think it was for a couple of days. It was just, you kept going and going, and it was still wet and wet, but it was a rainforest.
emotions rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. I am yours.
During all this hiking, we were actually acclimatizing. Slowly, our bodies are getting used to higher and higher altitude. I had read and watched other groups in YouTube getting stuck on the mud that felt like quicksand. And yep, it happens. Here I lost my boot. Graciously, Adam rescued it for me.
Just go in there.
Got that all on the GoPro.
Wherever you would call me, take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my
Good
faith
balance,
will
though.
be made stronger in the presence of
This area, of course, is home to the Dani people and as well as many of other individual tribes, and it is very challenging to navigate. Intertribe conflicts are possible, and while YouTube videos can be found on the internet, which I watched some of them, it scared me. However, once there, I could only marvel at the sheer strength and resilience of these people, what they demonstrated, and how strong they were. From women carrying many of our belongings on their heads to the majority of the porters just walking barefooted day after day. It made me feel inadequate looking at even children walking on wet mud, rocks, carrying our kitchen stuff, tents and equipment, barefooted. I kept looking at them over and over at some of our breaks. They were all barefooted. And then there was us, trying not to fall, with simply carrying our day pack with shoes, rain boots, and trekking poles. Because of the tribe's conflict, the hiring of local porters also included armed protection.
keep my eyes
The rainforest was magical, and the river and the whole nature was magical. And we did like our breaks. Apparently, this wasn't just a scary plant.
What is that fruit?
Well, it is flat now, and very wet and rainy and flat, but it is flat. So I had to give it that, but there was a lot of rain. The ground was very, very slippery and stuck to our feet, and many times we just fell down. We couldn't help it. Emmanuel takes his role of commentator and videographer very seriously, and is very enlightening, actually.
Jess? Socks. That we actually cut off this morning to make tubes for the boots. Amazing.
Jesus, my captain, my soul's trusted love. Oh, my allegiance is rightfully yours. Like the wind.
We had lost our dining and kitchen tent in the first roadblock, so all we had for the whole trip was a couple of tarps. Thankfully, we still had our own private tents. The Gransburg mine is owned by Freeport-McMoRan. Its site employs over 20,000 people. As we hike closer to base camp, seeing gold speckles on the ground lost his fascination after a few hours of hiking. A lot of walking, the terrain kept changing, and even though this was a drier section, from rocks in hard clay surface, it would quickly come and change, and it would become like this soft, quick, sandy surface, and your boots would just get stuck in them. But it's hard to complain when the tribe and the children of tribesmen are also carrying your supplies and our food. That little boy was part of the Dani tribe. But here is a section where there was quicksand, and your feet will just go in and you feel like you can't come out.
Not an easy day. Not a single easy day on Carstensz, ladies and gentlemen.
Concentrated in just hiking, sometimes you forget to stop and just look around you and just look at the beauty and appreciate it. Emmanuel here made me stop to take a picture.
This is our last camp before we move over to base camp. The majority of the porters will stay here. There's only a handful that will go over through the Switzerland Pass with us to base camp, and then they will leave. From base camp on, it will just be us and the guides. Looking back at the footage, I start seeing that my face is starting to swell up, and this is due to the altitude. The New Zealand Pass was a trekking route full of rock-lined pathways and some beautiful lakes as scenery. But there was also a 50-meter long climbing passage to get to it, which was a climb with no ropes. We called it sketchy. But then once all that was done, we were able to finally see that we can descend to base camp.
You got away, it seems. You gave me faith to find my dream. You never notice what that means. Can't you see? You got away with me. It's in the way you want me. It's in the way you hold me. The way you show me just what love made of. It's in the way we make love. It's just the way you love. You got away with me. Somehow you got me to believe in everything that I could be. I've gotta say, you really got away. You got away.
The most common form of altitude sickness is acute mountain sickness, or AMS for short, which can begin at elevations as low as 2,000 meters or 6,500 feet. If AMS develops at any elevation, it causes tiredness and nausea. It can cause swelling of the face and hands, difficulty sleeping, dizziness, and severe headaches. I look like a chipmunk here in this picture. I was suffering from AMS.
Step, Jumar. Step, Jumar. This will be forever ringing in Emma's ears. Sun just came up on Carstensz. Emma's been doing a fantastic job. And this is where we're going. And this is what we are enjoying.
To climb Carstensz Pyramide takes exactly 1 day, I guess. The climb is a moderate technical challenge involving mostly rock scrambling and a fixed line rope travel. There are a
1
few
second,
sections
Emma.
on the route that require rock climbing skills up to a 5.6 difficulty. The climb necessitates a pre-dawn departure to avoid the afternoon equatorial precipitation.
Let's just say. And that's the abyss we came from. Top of the ridge. Here are folks. That's the woman that did it. Top of the
And
ridge.
this was what I was afraid of. Heights and that rope of Tyroland that I had to cross. I hyperventilated a little bit before the smile.
Walking Emma, you're awesome. Bravo, Emma. You're there, girl. Woo! You might have to pull yourself up, make a first step onto that rock. Good. Up. Yes! Good job! Just the backdrop.
This peak is the only peak of the 7 summits that is a rock climbing peak. It is a limestone rock. There's a cliche that says it's not about the summit, it's about the journey when you're climbing. But who are we kidding? It is about the summit. This was the most unbelievable feeling when we finally reached the top of Carstensz Pyramide. And I undoubtedly became the first Portuguese woman to have done so.
Come on, here's your chance. Don't let it slip right through your hands. Are you ready for the ride of your life? Your dreams are riding on the wind. Just reach out and pull them in. Get ready for the ride of your life. The ride let fear of falling hold you down. Your spirit's flying high above the clouds. Your glory bound. Come on, here's your chance. Don't let it slip right through your hands. Are you ready for the ride of your life? Your dreams are riding on the wind. Just reach out and
And now we're at it again. Except this time we're going back. Mix of snow, rain. But she's doing it. Amazing. Now, you know it's not for the faint of heart to be up here. Now with these weather patterns. Good job, Emma. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Woo! Here's Emma coming down. It's almost 1 o'clock. We left at 1 o'clock this morning from base camp. We got a few more rappels to go. Obviously it's gotten late and rainy for the last ones. She's doing amazing. And as you see, water down the gully now as it accumulates on the mountain. And we have not too far to go. She becomes such an amazing rappeller. That's where she is. And we're almost back down to base camp, which is just over the ridge here. As you can see, the weather changed quite a bit from this morning. Last legs of the battery. This might be the final video. And look at her go. Amazing. Amazing.
Come on, here's your chance. Don't let it slip right through your hands. Are you ready for the ride of your life? Your dreams are riding.
This is our wet guide. Getting really, 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 really wet. No, go in the gully, hun. Go in the gully. Just put your feet on each side of the gully. Just put your 1 foot on each side of the water. That a girl.
Your spirit's flying high above the clouds. Your glory bound. Come on, here's your chance. Don't let it slip right through your hands. Are you ready for the ride of your life?
As you can see late in the day, exhausted, but amazing. What do you gotta say, Emma? You gotta say something. Battery's low. Last chance. What do you think about Carstensz now? Go ahead. Come on. Come over here, clip into these. We just gotta walk down this little path here. And then I think we only have a couple more rappels. Good job, Emma.
Let it slip right through your hands. Are you ready for the ride of your life? Yeah. Your dreams are riding all the way. Just reach out and follow